On the city bus rumbled through the evening streets, its engine humming a familiar lullaby that Sarah knew all too well. She shifted her sleeping 2-year-old daughter Emma closer to her chest, feeling the weight of another impossibly long day pressing down on her shoulders. The fluorescent lights overhead flickered occasionally, casting dancing shadows across the worn fabric seats. Sarah's reflection stared back at her from the darkened window. At 26, she looked older than her years. Dark circles shadowed. Her eyes and her blonde hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail that had started neat 12 hours ago. Her work uniform, a simple white polo and khaki pants from the grocery store, still smelled faintly of cleaning supplies and fresh produce. The bus lurched to a stop, and a few passengers shuffled off into the cool night air. Sarah glanced at her phone. 7:45. Emma's bedtime had been at 7, but here they were, still 20 minutes from their small apartment. The babysitter had canceled last minute again, leaving Sarah no choice but to bring Emma to work for the second time this month. As the bus pulled away from the curb, Sarah felt her eyelids growing heavy. She had been up since 5 that morning, gotten Emma ready, dropped her at daycare, worked an 8-hour shift, picked up Emma, and now faced the long ride home. Tomorrow would bring the same routine, and the day after that and the day after that. The seat beside her remained empty until the next stop, when a man in a dark navy suit settled into it with a quiet sigh. Sarah barely noticed him at first, too focused on keeping Emma comfortable and fighting off her own exhaustion. But something about his presence felt different from the usual bus passengers. He moved with quiet confidence, and she caught a glimpse of an expensive watch on his wrist as he reached for his phone. The man, who looked to be in his early 30s with dark hair and kind eyes, glanced over at Emma sleeping peacefully in Sarah's arms. His expression softened, and when he caught Sarah looking, he offered a gentle smile. "Long day?" he asked quietly, his voice barely above a whisper so as not to wake the child. Sarah nodded, suddenly feeling self-conscious. "Every day feels long lately," she admitted, then immediately wondered why she was sharing such personal information with a stranger. "I understand," he replied, and something in his tone suggested he really did. "Beautiful daughter." "Thank you," Sarah whispered, looking down at Emma's peaceful face. Her daughter's tiny hand was curled around the ear of a well-worn stuffed lamb that had seen better days, but remained Emma's constant companion. The bus hit a particularly rough patch of road, and Sarah winced as Emma stirred slightly. The motion seemed to push Sarah further into the corner of her seat, and she found herself leaning unconsciously toward the stranger beside her. He noticed and shifted slightly, creating a more comfortable angle without making her feel awkward about the proximity. "I'm Michael," he said softly. "Sarah," she replied, then felt compelled to add, "and this is Emma." The conversation died naturally. As the bus continued its route through the city, Sarah found herself growing drowsier with each passing block. The warmth from Michael's presence beside her, combined with the gentle rocking of the bus and the soft sound of Emma's breathing, created a cocoon of unexpected comfort. Her head began to nod, and despite her efforts to stay alert, exhaustion finally won. Sarah's head came to rest against Michael's shoulder, and for the first time in months, she felt truly safe enough to let her guard down completely. Michael remained perfectly still, understanding instinctively that this young mother needed rest, more than she needed pride. He could feel the tension slowly leaving her body as sleep claimed her, and he found himself moved by the trust she had unconsciously placed in him. The bus continued its journey through the city, stopping and starting, passengers coming and going. Michael stayed exactly where he was, occasionally glancing down at the sleeping mother and child beside him. There was something about Sarah's quiet strength that reminded him of his own mother, who had struggled to raise him alone after his father left when he was young. When the bus reached Sarah's stop, Michael gently placed his hand on her arm. "Sarah," he whispered, "this is your stop." Sarah's eyes fluttered open, and for a moment she was disoriented. Then reality crashed back, and she realized she had been sleeping on a stranger's shoulder for who knew how long. Heat flooded her cheeks as she sat up quickly. "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry," she stammered, adjusting Emma in her arms. "I can't believe I never fall asleep on buses. I'm mortified." Michael stood to let her out, and as she gathered her things, he reached into his jacket pocket. "Please don't apologize. We all need rest sometimes." He handed her a business card. "I run a company downtown. We're always looking for reliable people, and something tells me you'd be perfect for our customer service department. Better hours, better pay, and we have on-site childcare." Sarah stared at the card in shock. "Michael Chen, Chief Executive Officer, Chen Industries." Her mouth fell open as she looked up at him, then back at the card. "You don't even know me," she whispered. "I know enough," Michael replied with a smile. "I know you're a dedicated mother who works hard and cares deeply about providing for your daughter. I know you're trustworthy. You could have easily taken my wallet while I sat there. But the thought never crossed your mind, and I know you have the kind of character my company needs." The bus driver cleared his throat. "Lady, you getting off or not?" Sarah looked once more at Michael, tears threatening to spill over. "Why would you do this for a stranger?" "Because, once upon a time, a stranger gave my mother a chance when she needed it most," Michael said simply. "Call the number on Monday. Ask for Jennifer in HR and tell her I sent you." Sarah stepped off the bus, clutching the card, and Emma, watching as Michael settled back into his seat. As the bus pulled away, she saw him wave once through the window, before disappearing into the night. Standing on the sidewalk under the streetlight, Sarah looked down at the business card, then at Emma, who was just beginning to wake up. "Mama?" Emma mumbled sleepily. "Yes, baby. Go home now." Sarah smiled, feeling lighter than she had in months. "Yes, sweetheart. We're going home. And maybe, just maybe, things are about to get a whole lot better." As they walked toward their apartment building, Sarah tucked the card safely into her pocket, already imagining the phone call she would make on Monday morning. Sometimes, she thought, help came from the most unexpected places, in the most unexpected ways. The city lights twinkled around them like stars, and for the first time, in a very long time, Sarah felt hope blooming in her chest like a flower finally seeing sunlight.